Hmm. Wow, the video quality over here is so much better. I do a lot of my lives on Facebook Live, and there is a huge, huge difference in video quality. So yeah, I'm just testing. I'm just testing the audio. If you are watching this and you can hear the audio, is it good? And then the video quality, is it good? Um, my name is Bobby Gray Eagle, and I put out I don't know, it's just kind of like encouragement and things like that, in the church circles or in spiritual circles, you would know it as like exhortation, like right now I think that we're talking past one another, and I think that folks like me should be sharing the light that's within us, like smart guys like Sean Stevenson, the Model Health Show. I'm thinking of another gentleman too. What was the podcast the other one that I'm listening to? But these entrepreneurs that have been doing this for years, and they're talking about this right now in this time of this pandemic of hopelessness. The people that have this light within them, they're just good at sharing and casting vision. They need to be speaking right now. Well, that's the whole purpose of why I truly believe, as a Dakota man, as a man that is a part of the Seven Council Fires. Some of you would know them as the Great Sioux Nation. Um, as a man that's a part of the Seven Council Fires, as my people are called the Sisitawa Wahpetua Dakota Oyate. I'm still trying to teach myself the language. So if you are native and you're part of my tribe too, I apologize if I butcher these words, but I'm not going to apologize for speaking it. So I'm still trying to teach myself the language. But as a Dakota man, one of the things that was taught to me at a very young age is this one's relationship to the Creator. It's like it's central, and I'm not apologetic for it. I'm not going to sit there. I think that our society in America, what we do is we tend to be like, you know, you shouldn't share that here. Share what? I was just telling you that this is what was taught to me. We as Native people in my tribe, we talk about Creator, and He's a part of every part of our life. Yeah, but some of us aren't believers in here. Okay, now now you're not respecting me. I don't know if that makes any sense. So I don't apologize for my relationship and my relationship with Creator God. With um, I truly believe that He's the one that has put this light in me, and it is my job to share it. So how I see things, it's my job to share it and let other people do with it. And maybe it sparks something in them, and then they get connected to somebody else down the way. But it was the spark. It was my light. That's not really my light. It's borrowed. It was given to me. Um, it's me giving to back to humanity in this time of human history. Um, the reason why I bring Creator God into this right now, this testing, if you will, because I want you to know why I'm doing these things. Um, right at the start of COVID, and I would say even before that, I had this pressing, this like just this nagging, like on the movie The Matrix, the one character Morpheus talks about, like it's the splinter in your mind that there's something wrong with the world. Well, I'm like, that's kind of what it felt like. There was this kind of this irritation or this thing that was poking me, saying you need to go live, and I'm like, I don't understand that. First off, nobody follows me. Second off, what? How do I even start any of that? So I started watching people do it. Gary Vaynerchuk, Sean Stevenson, the Model Health Show, John Lee Dumas, um, Pat Flynn, guys like that. I would watch it. Not Ray Stevens. Where's my phone at? And I'm getting actually very comfortable sharing this way, like, being okay with not having all the pieces there and just going with the flow, just putting out my vibe, putting out. But these are some of the thought. These are some of my instructors, some of my teachers for the past several years, almost 10 years now. Um, let's see, Jim Quick, Quick Brain. I listen to a lot of Quick Brain. Ray Edwards show. Let's see here, Sean Stevenson, uh, John Lee Dumas. There was another one Dr. Jordan Peterson. Dr. Jordan Peterson has really been really cool. So, um, but they're all saying that right now there are individuals that have what I'm going to call light. You have this gift of encouraging people. When you're around individuals, people walk away generally encouraged. It's not that you're walking around shiny happy day people, kind of this, and the birds are always singing in your camp and things like that. It's actually something different. You have this understanding within yourself that, what, yes, all these things are going on. Yes, there's a storm going on. Yes, there's chaos happening right now. But it is my job to bring the gift that I have. That, like, there is a better day that coming down. There is a beginning to this, and there will be an end. We might be in the middle chapters or at the beginning of the end of the end chapters or whatever. Um, and you might be way better at speaking, and like, I think of brothers and sisters that are in this faith space, in the family of faith, and that speaks to me as an indigenous man, as a Dakota man. um, we call each other relatives, so one of our values as Dakota people is, um, to be a good relative. And I think that is a spiritual value that I can apply to everyday life. So when I think of individuals that are gifted communicators, I think, well, okay, first off, I don't have a following. I don't have some of these resources, the equipment, the camera, the high quality, what do they call it? Those digital cameras. I don't have the mixing, nice mixing board and all that. I don't have these things. So, and then I don't. And when I talk in a way that is kind of like, it's all over the place. I grab a bunch of ideas and it's like on the fly. I call it beating. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, so I don't have I don't have native jewelry in here. I'd show you some of the gifts that I've been given, but the our artists will take beads and they'll make this just beautiful things, but they'll take beads from different things, and overall it looks like it doesn't make sense. Grab this one, grab this one, grab this one, and they put it on the loom. Grab this one, grab that one, grab this one from that bowl, that one from that bowl, and put it on the loom. This one, and they keep going. And you're kind of looking at it like that makes no sense, but as they continue to go on, you're like, holy smokes, that is beautiful. Now, I'm not saying that every one of, like, the things that I like when I'm rambling on are beautiful. I'm just saying that's the way that I talk. I call it beating. But there are others out there that are just gifted communicators, and if that is your cup of tea, I'm saying go learn from them, man. Um, I like watching Twitch. I like the vibes that there are some individuals out there putting out some good vibes on Twitch. I felt like I should jump over there, but I just don't know where to start, And I've asked young people on my Facebook lives, to DM me if they, hey, look, man, if you can help me, like, get this to. Oh, my coat's falling. um, help me get this to the next level. If you truly believe what I'm sharing with you is of value, and you want to be a part of it, help me to become better, and then you're going to get actually some ideas that are going to ignite something within you, and then you're going to go out and do it even better than I'm doing it. um, I think that Jesus, for some of you, you might think, great, he's going to talk about religion. um, this man that we as Dakota people, when we heard about him, we gave him the name Wanikia, the Redeemer. When I hear when he says, "So let your light shine," before men, that they'll see your good works and glorify your Father who's in heaven. When I understand that, I realize that that's what is needed in this time of history. People are looking for hope. People are looking for this light that can give them, like, I'm so glad that I heard from that person. I was listening to their podcast. The guy had this guy on, this guy had this guy on, and this guest was talking about this, and I came away just encouraged. It's light. It's light, and it's what's needed right now in a pretty dark time of human history, of global history, of American history. And it's just not these individuals, the Gary Vaynerchuk's, the Sean Stevenson, whoever those thought leaders are, or those gifted communicators. It's just not them. The reality is we all, in order for a vision to take off, in order for something to become a movement, we all need to be doing our part. We all need to not take advantage, but do our part in it. And you have a part of that, and so do I. And this is me trying to do that. And it feels weird being over here on YouTube, because I'm just like, then I'm really taking a step down a road to fail. And you might be like, well, what the heck? So if I'm hearing creator right, and I'm supposed to be one of these individuals, right? And you're supposed to be one of these individuals, by the way, you are. Here's the thing: you might not do it the way I'm doing it, but you might do it within your circle. Us natives, we like talking about circles. We like talking about being in circles, being a part of cycles and stuff like that. But my circle, you necessarily might not touch, but your circle you can. That might be a good friend, that might be a spouse, that might be children, that might be relatives, immediate family, tiwahe, um, extended family like a tioshpaye, or a oyate, a nation. Um, you can touch those places. I can't. You can take these things, file off the serial numbers, and make them yours, and go out. And I like when John Lee Dumas says, "Hey, look, man, if I hear a good teaching, I give the person credit 3 times, and then it's mine." So let's just say you hear something on a podcast, and you're like, man, and you've shared it 3 times, and you've given that person that you heard it from credit. After that, it's all yours. That's what I've actually been doing. You'll hear me say a lot. A lot of these teachings are from all over the place. I listen to Tony Robbins. I listen to um, um, entrepreneurs, and I listen to it's clinical psychologists. Um, I'm trying to think of folks that, but in these places, I find these nuggets of truth, and I apply them to, and I think about them. I'm like, well, how does that apply to, like, Native people? How does that apply to my neighborhood? How does that apply to the city I live in, the county and the state and the region? How does that apply to the United States? How does that apply to my res? I come from the Sisi Tawa Wakpetua Dakotoyate. Um, the Sisi Tawa, the Sisi Tawa are the people of the fish ground, where our traditional homelands was actually Minnesota before we were exiled, and the history behind that is it's heartbreaking. But here we are, and so people of the fish grounds, and I'm telling you what, man, uh, the the one of the saving graces about being over here on YouTube Live is the fact that can piece together all these things and be so random. I feel like Facebook, I need to have like my thoughts in order or whatever. But ultimately, I still kind of just be me. Young influencers right now are really putting out their vibes, and I like to see that. So I've walked this earth 46 winters. That's how we capture years in Dakota way. So I'm 46 years old, but I'm telling you what, I don't feel like it. I don't feel old. And so when I talk to young people, and the people group that I tend to really um, gravitate towards, and they tend to listen to me, are middle school, high school, and college aged individuals. And I'll share just the way I think of 'em, and the way I think about things, and the way I see things. For instance, I shared with you in the beginning here that I believe that, like right now, all of our light is needed, right? We need to share light. We need to share encouragement, exhortation, patience, kindness. We need to share those things within a relationship with our wife, with a relationship with our children, and all down the line. We need to be patient with one another right now. We need to be kind with one another. We need to not be envious of one another. We need these are things that are actually um, I call them like heaven culture, right? Children of light. That's God is light, things like that. Um, so I'll tell young people all the time. I'll say we need to look at our Dakota ways, our Dakota Lakota ways, because I tend to serve people on the Standing Rock Reservation, young people, but on the larger scale, I talk to young people, all over, and I'll say things like, in your culture, you might have this belief that is like respect, and in our culture, in my tribe, we have this thing that's called wo ohoda. Um, it means all respect. But anytime you see that word woe at the beginning of a word, it's like the act of doing. But I believe it makes the word sacred. It's like um, this is something that I need to do every day to another human being or to another people group or to another community. So I'll say we finish our prayers with Mitakuye Oyasi, right? And there's about maybe 60 young people in there. And I'll say we finish up right for those of you that say you're traditional, right? I mean, just you don't have to raise your hand or anything, but just nod your head. Give me okay. I see some of you. Maybe just look up at me. All right, I see some of you. So we finish our prayers with Mitaku ye oyasi. It means all my relatives, all my relations, depending on which part of the seven council fires that you talk to. So the Great Sioux Nation, there are seven council fires in there, and it's such a fascinating. I consider it an honor to be a part of the community, and but depending on who you talk to, it could mean all my relatives or all my relations. Hold up, just had to close my door. Sorry. Um, Depending on who you talk to, it could mean all my relatives or all my relations. And so what I'll tell young people is I'll say it more in a reminding tone. I'll say, how can we who finish our prayers that way, that we're all related, how can we stand? Because when we talk to Creator, we all stand. So like if an elder starts talking to Creator, everybody stands, and so that person's talking, and then when they're done, when he's done praying, he says he'll say or they'll say mitaku ye oyasi, and the response comes from everyone there, either huh or how, and yes is the response. Yes, we agree, we're all related. So I'll say, how can we finish our prayers that way and then come out of that space and then be salty and disrespectful to people around us, meaning non-native people, but more specifically white people. And you can just see young people like look up and be like, oh no. This is our relative up there has just called me out on the table, and it's just a teachable moment. If you say all my relatives, but you exclude this other ethnicity, this other tribe, this other nation, you're not in that moment, you cease to be Dakota or Lakota. And then they're intrigued. They're looking at me like, okay, now, okay, explain. I'll say, because when you say Mitaku ye oyasi, you're saying all my relatives, all my relations, all of those that are related to one another, that are products of Creator God, because that's kind of one of the feelings, or the like when we say that, that's one of the feelings that's in there. It's really spiritual, depending on which elder you talk to. So when we say those things and then we go out and act differently, we cease to be Dakota, right? I mean, look at the Navy SEALs. They carry a certain ethos, right? A certain way to carry them, a certain way to live their lives. Well, this is the way of life that we've been given as Dakota and Lakota people, as Ochedi Shakoi, the seven council fires. That's what that means. Ochedi Shakoi, the seven council fires. But when we go out and we point at white people or we point at another tribe or nation and say that you're the problem, you are the reason why I can't heal and my family can't heal. That's not being a good relative. It's really not when we have that posture. So I'll tell young people, like, you cease to be Dakota or Lakota in that moment. And the best way for you to kind of come back to that is to just admit to Creator God that, have pity on me. This is an elder prayer. I'm going to give you, have pity on me, for I'm a common man or woman. I'm just a common man. I'm just a common woman. And then try again. Just living these Dakota ways out, these Lakota ways out, are something that happens on day by day and a moment by moment basis. Today is the only thing that you can take care of. So just work at that. And I'm telling you what, young people, to their credit, don't look at me and be like, whatever, my auntie or my uncle told me different. My grandma and my grandpa told me different. They don't do those things. They're such this generation right now. It's like the tail end of the millennials and this Gen Z. There's like a medicine within them. Is the best way I can explain it to all of you. In as the frontier pushed to the west, and the Plains tribe started bumping into the Plains Indian Wars started happening. We started bumping into the United States, and they started bumping into us. And gold was in the Black Hills, and treaties were made and broken. We had a Lakota holy man by the name of Black Elk prophesy, and we had another warrior, Crazy Horse, prophesy. And both of them kind of said the same thing, but in a different way. Crazy Horse said that the Red Nation, they're broken, but in the seven, but they'll rise again, and they'll be a medicine to a lost and dying world, or a lost and sick world, I think it was. And Crazy Horse said that the red hoop of our people is broken, or the hoop of our people is broken, but in the seventh generation, there'll be a new hoop made up of all colors. To me, that sounds like a I don't know, what would you call it, like a restoration happening, or some kind of like a spiritual awakening that happens. And the crazy thing is that is this generation, and people might think, what? Like right now, like 2020 has like been bad. This whole time's been bad. But what better place for something to emerge? Out of this ashes emerges a phoenix. And I think that the young people, you young people, if you're watching, because some of them follow me on different various social platforms or whatever. But for you young people, if that's where you're at, you're a millennial. You're in that millennial camp, and you're over in the Gen Z camp. You guys carry within you a medicine, and it just needs to be ignited. Get good things into your mind. Be around. I'm not telling you not to be like, because right now on my Facebook Live, I shared yesterday that I'm struggling with a little depression. The reason why I shared it is because, number one, it loses power when I do that, because there's power in acknowledging something, right? And so when you acknowledge it and you say, look, man, it just loses its power. And when you share it with another human being, there's medicine there. So that's why I shared it with Facebook Live. There are people there that watch me from afar. We can't gather. Most places can't gather. Most groups can't gather. So we gather in the places we can, Zoom and Facebook Live, or, what do you call that? Darn it, what is it? FaceTime or whatever. So I was sharing with them. The fact that I is struggling with some depression with the COVID-19. But there's medicine. I felt immediately once I finished that. Facebook Live. I felt good. Um, but there are other people that are in those Facebook lives that come away, and they'll shoot me a DM and be like, "Thank you for sharing that. I thought I was alone, and it really made me feel good and whatever." That's part of the light. It's like the things that, even when I felt weak in that moment, I was strong. I didn't realize. I just didn't realize it at that time. How many of you, looking back at the past trials and storms that you've went through, that you've been like, "How did we ever get through that?" You just kept on going. You kept on pressing the target, as one of my old bosses said, who used to tell me, where we at? We're so far behind. Keep pressing, Bob. Keep pressing the target. But we're so far behind, and it doesn't look like we're climbing out of this hole. Bob, keep pressing the target. Um, I believe that your generation, like it's my job as a man that is a Gen X. So my generation was looked at as a generation of just kind of like, what the heck is wrong with those young people? I remember the Time article, and you guys probably understand that as millennials. You know, you were dogged on, picked apart, analyzed, and all that. And I tell people all the time in the circles I'm a part of, I'm like, you know, what would be great is if the millennials did a book on us. What do you mean? Like it was their scathing review of the generations that were ahead of them, because they had the millennials and the Gen Z. They're just picked apart, and I know what that feels like. I can relate with them as a Gen X, you know, as those ones that were looking at us and saying that we had issues, you know, like you guys have, you guys are jacked up. You guys are messed up. So I'm going to be one of the folks out there, just like Sean Stevenson and others, Dr. Jordan Peterson, to tell you that I believe in my culture, in my tribe. Um, your generation has been talked about. Our holy man, Black Elk, and our one of our chiefs and our warriors in Crazy Horse talked about that generation, and it just wasn't Indian people. Wasn't just talking about just the Red Nation, but it said the Red Nation would, yes, but I believe that it would serve as kind of like a catalyst, as like when you light a, you know, like when you light a candle in a Christmas Eve service, you know, that person gives you a light, and it's that light just keeps on. That's what I think is going to happen. I think that we're going to be a medicine applied to other things, and I believe that what's cool about Black Elk's prophecy is that it's a generation, that this generation, this people group, this segment that he talked about, are going to be a medicine in this time. And I believe that it's one of my jobs out there is to help you get there, is to fan that into flame. It's already there. The seed of it is already there. The light is already there, and it's my job, my vocation, my calling to help you get to that place. And so that's really why I feel like these lives and these Facebook lives, these YouTube lives, maybe eventually even Twitch, um, it's me living that out, you know. And they're going to be people that I know that dog on me, but hey, look, that's 46 winters of people dogging on me all the time, being salty and trolling and all that. You know, I grew up in a bad environment, um, you know, drugs and alcohol, and that's not my way anymore. I don't drink and drug and party anymore. But um, I came up in negative, bad environments, so I can identify when, you know, when somebody's doing that, you know, like over in Facebook, not Facebook, Twitch. I just tested like what I'm doing right now. I was just testing it, and right away the trolls started up, and it kind of like made me stumble. It's just because I didn't do my due diligence. There are other, what do they call it, like mods within face or within Twitch that I could have turned on, could filter out some of that, you know, or whatever. So because some people, they just, that's their aim in life. They gotta uh, I'm sorry, my son is texting me. That's another thing too. I think that um, the reason why we're all going through this in quarantine to ourselves is that, like for me, my reality is that I need to serve my wife and my sons and my grandchildren. I'm a young grandfather, and I need to serve them well. So right now, my son is asking me to come to his place of work and drop off some things he's forgot. So I want to be a good relative. That's what that means. I'm his dad, right? And I'll put down what I'm doing. So for those of you that will watch this, are watching this, I just want you to know that's the reason why I am doing all that. I think that kind of sums it up. So look forward to seeing you. Hopefully, moving forward, people will be, engage in the chat and all that. And but if you have any tips, tricks, man, reach out to me and help me. You know, I need help, and uh, to be better at this thing that I've been called to do. So Zani Washdedo, it means good health in Dakota. It's typically said after a sneeze, but I say it now in light of COVID-19. So Zani washdedo and Dokshta ake. I'll see you later. There's no word in Dakota way or Lakota way for goodbye. We just say see you later. So Dokshta ake. I'll talk to you guys later.